What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In today's video, I'm going to give you a review of She Will Punish Them. Now this is an early access game that is created by KK Softworks, and it is the same publisher that is creating Beauty and Violence Valkyries. And I did a video on my channel earlier this week talking about that game. So I saw this while I was doing research for that game, and I reached out to them, and they were kind enough to send me a key. So we're going to jump right into it, and I've spent some time playing this game, but I want to show you what I've come up with. So right off the bat, you have your own domicile, your area, your house, whatever you want to call it, and different things inside your house. So you have furniture that you can buy. Some of them are interactable, like the pool, which I will show you real quick since I actually have purchased it. It is right here, and if you bathe in it, you get this picture or this, viewpoint of your character. Now you have a couple of different places where you can buy items. You have a weapon rack where you can buy different items, different weapons, potions. You also have a armor stand where you can go and buy different types of armors, as you can see here. Additionally, at any point in time, you can change the way your character looks. There's a lot of different options for skin tone, eye color, hairstyle, horns, and wings. Now, some of the horns definitely clip out of the screen view, and it doesn't matter which camera you select, they clip above the screen view. So that's something that the developers should look at and maybe think about spending a little bit of time fixing that. You also have a wardrobe where you can dress your character and see what the different armors look like. Inside your home, you will also find these pools. There's a red one and a blue one, health and mana. You can fill those up every time you come back to your house. For storing items, you have a singular chest, as you can see here, and you have that much space. That's what you're able to store. Now, I definitely recommend keeping some armors and weapons in here in case you lose your armor and weapons on the battlefield from a death. Now, currently the game says that if you lose your items on the battlefield or in the dungeon, that when you return to that dungeon and complete it, you will regain those items. However, I have not been able to get that to work, as I've died and returned to that dungeon and not gotten the items that I lost back. The last item that I want to show you in your domicile is the throne, and you're able to sit here for a bit of fan service. Keeping in mind that this game is early access, there are some odd things that happen even in your house. So if you don't make it all the way up the stairs, as you can see, you slide right back to the bottom. Which, while it's not a big deal, it's definitely something that the gaming community is going to look at and just feel like it's an unfinished product. So let's get into a dungeon, and the first thing that you'll notice is there's just nothing on the outside. It's just completely barren. It feels just empty. So I think my first thing that I would say is that the developers have to do something, whether that's just raise the walls so you can't see anything outside of them, or place more trees with some buildings and maybe some burning sections. I don't know, it just feels completely empty. Now let's get into the weapon mechanics and the mechanics of the game. So in order to switch your weapons, you have to use the F1 and F2 button, as you can see in the top left-hand corner of the screen there. Honestly, I don't know why they're on F1 and F2. I really feel like they just need to move them to 1 and 2, and then move your potions that are set to 1 and 2, maybe over to 3 and 4. I think that makes a whole lot more sense. Going all the way up to F1 and F2 to switch weapons just does not feel correct. Now, the audio is definitely something that needs to be looked at. Right now, both the audio for the music and the audio for the attacks are on the same track. And if you do enough attacks fast enough, you will actually get the audio to stop playing the music and just have the sound of the attacks, which I'm going to show you now. Additionally, I feel like the footsteps are doubled. So you have the very soft sounding footsteps from running around, and then you have an echo as well. And as you can see, there's really nothing in the area for the footsteps to be echoing off of, so it just totally doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Blocking is also a thing that currently does not appear to be working in the game. So if I stand here and block this enemy, if he decides to attack with his invisible sword, it is going to go right through my shield. Which leads me to the invisible sword. Why? Why are we missing a sword at this level with an enemy that we see so often? That's just something that needs to be fixed and put in the game right away. You probably can't tell from the audio on the video, but there is not a 3D audio setup. So you don't know where this guy is shooting from. It sounds like he's shooting from one direction and he could be somewhere totally different. Now, something that a lot of people have already complained about, and I'm going to complain about it too, is the attacks and knowing what you're actually hitting. There's no way to lock on a target. There's also no way to necessarily know whether you're going to effectively land an attack, which is an issue in my mind. The loot is also something that's very odd, so as I was running around, anything that was gold or potions I simply picked up. But when you get to something that is more important, you have to press the tab key and then click it in order to pick it up. Honestly, I'd love to just see that changed to the interact button. So the same button that you press to interact something is the same button that you would press to pick something up. Now, there's currently only one magical ability in the game, and that's the ability that I'm showing you now. Basically, it's going to stop the enemy arrows from being able to come in, and that's going to allow me to be able to shoot at them without being hit by their incoming arrows. There are also these stations throughout the maps or the dungeons that you can interact with and buy different armors. These appear to be at random, and you get at random armors here. You also get at random armors when you go back to your house. Now, this is nice because if you're carrying something that you're absolutely not going to store, the gold amount that you're going to get for it here versus the gold amount you're going to get for it back at your house is not going to change at all. So you can sell it anywhere that you want. Though I like the fact that you can see where all the loot is on the map from just about anywhere, I feel like it loses a bit of the mystery that could happen in a game such as this. So instead of having to search around for a certain chest, I know exactly where it is. I could just run up and unlock it. So after about 3 hours of playing the game, I realized there was a test version of the game. So that's what I have loaded up here. And the first thing that I noticed right off the bat was this mods option. If you open that up, obviously we've got a little bit more fan service. Now, I'm not going to load that up because this is YouTube and that would not be good. So we're going to go right back into our game and see what the differences are. So here we are back at our house, and the first thing that you'll notice is they've added some extra area to the house or the castle, whatever you want to call it. Just a little nook here with some bookshelves. I'm sure there'll be more to come as time goes on. Now, they did say that they adjusted the slash animation, so let's go ahead and just plop ourselves in here and see what we get. In addition to that, you now have unlock items for each one of these dungeons. So if we go to this one, you can see these are the items that unlock. If we go to this one, these are the items that unlock. So each one has their own specific loot. Now, you're definitely going to find yourself playing these dungeons over and over to get your character leveled up enough to where you feel like you can take on some of the later dungeons. And immediately I can see that the slash attack for the two-handed sword has definitely changed. In the past, it was a downward strike and then a slash strike. Now it's a slash strike and then a downward strike. Now, I've talked a lot about things that I think need to be improved with this game. However, this game does do some things right. First of all, the fan service is great. I don't think there's an issue with that at all. However, I don't want that to be the main focus and goal for this game. I really would like to have an immersive experience where I feel like I am part of a story, doing something more than just checking out a hot bod while I run around and kill dungeon enemies. And like I've said, I played this game for a little over 3 hours, and I really am enjoying it. It does bring me back. I do want to come back in, get more loot, and kill more enemies. So, as far as that goes, I'm actually having a lot of fun. However, I think it's important for any game developer to realize that fan service is only going to get them so far, and they really have to focus on the rest of the game. And that is what I'm looking for with these developers. Something else that I want to mention that I think would be a nice addition is for each individual enemy to have its own health bar. And the reason why I say that is because it's hard to pick out a single enemy to target when they all share the same space for a health bar. And if you're in a situation where you have a lot of enemies and you're running away from them or trying to pick the best next target, it would be much nicer if each one of them had a health bar to show you which you should target next. Now, from what I understand, this game is expected to be fully developed in just a year. And I think if they focus really hard on the gameplay mechanics side of things, I think they can achieve that and have a stellar game, a really good game at the end of it. So I will continue watching this. Mainly, I will watch this and Beauty and Violence Valkyries because I feel like they're going to be very similar games with different stories. And I think if they can get these things sorted out, this is going to be a really fun game. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. I'll catch you next time. Peace. I'd like to give a big shout out to all my YouTube members. Y'all are absolute legends. Thank you to all my subscribers for your continued support, likes, comments, and general awesomeness. If you're not subscribed, you can start your free trial today and cancel at any time. Clicking the bell is highly recommended so you don't miss out on my next upload. There's a couple of videos on the screen. You can follow me over there to continue the conversation.